Yeah, still 24th of February. Couldn't help but start tearing into my new, to me, Powermatic metal cutting bandsaw. Pulled off the back cover. Of course, you got your drive motor. It's a Bowder. Your main drive pulley. Secondary pulley. Step down speed increase. What I thought was a coolant line is actually an air blow-off line, so you can see your mark. Got a little air compressor underneath here. Right now I'm draining the oil out of the gearbox. It feels like it's 80-90 weight, just standard gear oil, and it's got a goodly amount coming out, so that's a good sign. Add oil in the gearbox, ain't nothing wrong with that. The plug itself, of course, it's real far from the gearbox. There was no indication of metal on the plug, but that doesn't really tell me a lot. So I'll let it drain, and probably just go back with my 80-90 weight. Yeah. But I'm just tickled slap to death it had oil in it. Now I'm sure that air compressor takes oil. I gotta dig around and find the fill for it. No real surprises. Of course, it's dirty. I checked the bearings on the main wheels for the blade, and they're sealed bearings. This thing's got grease points on it. I ain't found them yet. I think every bearing on here is a sealed bearing. I ain't found a single grease point. But anyway, the drive wheels for the belt, the drive and idler, not the belt, the saw blade, feel to be in really good shape. So that's good. All things are rebuildable, but if you don't have to tear it all the way down and do a major rebuild, you're money and time ahead. And I'm not going to power wash this thing. What I'll do is scrape and clean and get off the big chunks. And like on my Marvel #2 draw cut saw, I cleaned it with a paintbrush and diesel, and had real good luck with that. It turned out real nice and clean, and the diesel don't hurt anything. Power washing stuff, you can get water where you don't want it, and so I really prefer not to do that. So I won't. Let's see here. The table's got the scale, but not the pointer. Again, that's not that big a deal. No, I can make it perpendicular to the blade. That's not a problem. I've got enough precision measuring devices. I can do that pretty easily. It had a hell of a rattle in it, about to drive me bonkers. So I got to investigating. This thing don't have a whole lot of panels. So let me see if I can replicate that noise. Okay, well, what in the hell is that? Well, there's a cable here, right here, that's tied to the blade position where you go up and down on your blade guide. You follow this cable back, there's a weight just dangling inside this cavity here. That clunking sound is that weight bouncing around in there. Oh, well, son of a gun. Now I know what it is, so I got no worries. But yeah, the idler and drive wheels for the blade, they're good and snug. Everything turns free. No grinding, no binding. Of course, you don't really hear that much grinding until you crank it up. And then here's the blow off right here to keep your blade area kerf clean. Like I said, so you can see your mark. All the tensioning knobs turn freely. And so yeah, if anybody can figure this out, it's a model 87 serial number is PM8193. A couple of things I'd like to know: the weight and year of manufacture. I've done just a real quick search from a little building up here. Didn't find anything, but I want to come play with the machine anyway, so I didn't spend a lot of time working. And the blade, welder, cutter, etc. moves freely. The clamping devices work. That needs to be cleaned up. I'm somewhat familiar with this machine, but I cannot remember if the blade welder worked. I can't remember. Inside the electrical box is pretty much factory fresh. These are heater coils. It was on 460, been rewired to 230. So yeah, this has been cut here, and a bolt stuck in that hole. I don't know why. Probably at some point that was some way to indicate where your blade tension was. I don't know. Other than that, I see no let's say modifications to it. So yeah, like I said, for what I paid for it, there ain't no way I can get hurt. Just the parts on this thing, if I had to put a number on it and find a buyer, that's the big thing, is finding a buyer. You're probably looking at, you know, with the hard parts and tables and such, probably a couple $1,000 just in parts, if you can find a buyer. And again, that's the big if. But I'm not going to part it out. I'll get it cleaned up, get it running correctly, and have myself a pretty decent bandsaw. So, that's all for this one. Thank you.